Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Dream podcast. Today, we will be going over dream stories, and if any of you have any interesting dreams that you'd like to share, the best way to do it would be on our subreddit. The link to that will be in the description of this episode. And if you want to join the conversation, you can always go to our Discord, and we also have our YouTube channel where you can see us and go over some of the visuals and the drawings that we go over for the dreams. And my name is Casey Lucid, and we also have...
Hey, it's Lee, everyone. How's everyone doing?
And Lee will start us off with the first dream of the day.
Alright, so getting right into the stories. The first one is from user Isaac Lage. During my life, I had 3 dreams that lasted years, and I felt every second of them. It was the same dream, all 3 times. It lasted around 15 years. It wasn't possible to know it was a dream. It felt just like real life. I've had lucid dreams before where I notice it's a dream and I can change it, but these 3 long dreams were not like that. They happened more or less with 1-year intervals in between them. First in 2018, then 2019, then 2020. Around the end of the year for each of them. So I'm afraid I'll have another one this year. It's not a bad dream. It's the opposite actually, but it makes me miserable to wake up and to have 15 years lost. What are those? And is there a way to stop them? I don't want another one.
Okay, so that's not...
Quite a dream story. It's a more of
yeah, not really a story, but I thought I would include it. Yeah, it's... because it does happen to some people, so I just thought it was an interesting thing to share with the listeners. So, what do you make of that?
That's kind of crazy. If I had another lifetime in 15 years and I was lucid... Well, it didn't feel. He said it. Well, they said it didn't feel lucid, so it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah, like they thought, like you know how sometimes you're just so caught up in the dream, and when you wake up, you're like, oh, it was a dream. So, but it's like imagine having like 15 years worth of that, and then you're like, oh snap, it was a dream.
Yeah, and those can be. Well, I would say if there's anything big happening, those are very real experiences to them. So 15 years of whatever memories and stuff, it's just like when you wake up, it's like not really there.
Yeah, and can you imagine? Because like in 15 years, you can fall in love and start a family and all of that, and then like have kids, and then like your kids can be like young kids. I mean, like by the time like you wake up, and it's like what on earth?
Yeah, and I can imagine how exhausting it must be to like process afterwards.
Yeah, so. The only way that I can relate to this is I've had 2 different dreams that I can think of. They were both extremely different. They were not the same dream at all, but one of them lasted about a year, and then the other one felt like it lasted 2 years. Now, here's the weird part. It's not that they actually lasted that long, but they felt like they lasted that long, I don't know. It's very strange because, like you can have like a million things happen in your mind all at like in the matter of like 10 seconds, but I have no idea how one would stop it if they don't want it, because I can see how that can be frustrating. I have no idea how that would be stopped.
I would also love to know what it is. It could be something bothering them in real life, and all of a sudden they're like boom. And I've been reading like some people just like from when they're kids, they just have this natural ability to go lucid too. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and one of the Redditors was telling me, and I have the link, I'm going to have to look it up, but apparently there's like a whole group of people that have just entire alternate realities that play out in their dreams that they can revisit pretty much every night, and it's like things just, it's like a very real, apparently it feels like a very real reality. I don't know if it's like an actual condition or something like that, but it's like everything just plays out, and it's like they have their own narratives and like stories, and like something will happen, they'll leave, and like it'll be like the same house, but like a little changed up or new people in it. That's like, I don't know, man. That sounds almost like it. I don't know, just crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre and also really cool. Yeah, but if you ever get the chance, we'd love to hear the full details on this story.
Yeah, like Isaac, if you're listening to this episode, feel free to give us more details, or if you want to actually share the story of what happened in the dream, because that would be interesting to hear more of it.
Or we do it on an interpretations episode.
Or that, yeah. Or you could come on. As a guest, we'll love to have you.
Oh, absolutely.
But okay, so then The next dreamer just wanted to keep their dream anonymous, or their name anonymous.
And I think that's the rest of them too.
Yeah, we had a bunch of those this time around. And that's fair. Obviously, if anybody wants to keep their anonymity, we'll respect that. It's the internet after all.
We just don't get to read out cool usernames now, though.
Yeah. No, yeah, the usernames are always fascinating to read. But so the first one that we have on here, it says there was this island in a Swiss lake, and people, including families, would go there voluntarily, even though it was a high chance of death. I was there too, but don't remember how I got there. At first, everyone supposedly had to fight each other to the death, and afterwards the survivors were gathered and were put through nightmarish tests. In my case, they made me choose between my family burning to death or me burning to death. Hence why I think the families were with children and the kids had to be at least 12 years old to be allowed there. I didn't choose at all, and to my luck, they didn't kill anyone. I don't recall the other survivors doing those tests, though. I just remember that it was a normal thing and that afterwards they let us go back to our daily lives. After it ended, I ate something with a dude who was pretty grumpy, who also participated. Then I met a friend of mine and argued whether going to these Hunger Games was worth it or not. I told him I didn't want a piece of wood through my heart, but he said something along the lines of, "It's not happening if I took appropriate measures." Then I saw a well-dressed politician in a boat who watched the island from a distance and told the people with him how it was a good thing such rich people would die and their money could be better distributed. This last bit, though, wasn't seen from my perspective. I wasn't on the boat. I left out some details, but this dream was so unique compared to my usual ones that I had to share it. Okay, yeah.
Wow, it's like Battle Royale or something.
Yeah, Battle Royale in a Swiss lake. I like the fact that they said that it seemed kind of normal, but, it's obviously kind of like a disturbing event, but it seemed normal. Almost like a different culture. Interesting. Yeah, no, thank you.
Some kind of weird Nordic ritual or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy to think about that. The extreme, like how extreme a different culture can seem to an outsider. Like if you watch that show Vikings, where they where they end up doing like human sacrifices, which apparently the Vikings actually did. Where it's kind of like, that's so crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
But like the sacrifices were like okay with it. They thought it was an honor, So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the dream.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you.
So the next one is, anonymous as well. They give us a warning before reading this dream that there's a lot of profanity in the dream. All right, so here's your warning. They title it "Shitty Fucking Restaurant." Went to this restaurant, ordered a paella, a Spanish dish, and this bitch had the nerve to ask me, "What is that? How do you make it?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, that shit is on your menu. You want to charge me money for it and ask me how to make it?" I was like, "Fuck this. Let me go get an ostrich egg to go from your fridge over there." There was a fridge right in the middle of the dining room with a sign that said ostrich eggs above it. She tells me that those aren't for sale and they're only for the chef to use to make paellas. I'm like, "Bitch, your chef doesn't know how to make paellas. Why the fuck don't you put it in the chef's fridge then? Not in the middle of the restaurant." Long story short, I ended up stealing an egg and escaped on the subway.
I wonder if this dreamer had like a something happen in their waking life where they went to a restaurant, and then have you ever had one of those situations where you go to a restaurant and it's like there's some kind of like a miscommunication, and like this, like you don't order the right thing, or like they don't understand exactly what you're trying to order?
Or you do order and they're like, "What's that? Is it on your menu?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right here." It's like a very extreme, weird version of that.
Yeah, I wonder what experience they had in the waking life to prompt that.
I also wonder if this is like their actual personality in real life too.
Yeah, that's but okay. So on to the next one then. So this one is a nightmare about getting sketch vibes that turned into a panic attack. I was having a super intense nightmare that I befriended a super lonely guy who got relentlessly bullied and realized I was in danger when I got into his house. He turned out to be super weird and started giving me Dahmer vibes. That might have even been who it was. I don't remember the face a whole lot, only that it was a lanky young white guy. Thinking about it, he resembled Rick Murray from Degrassi, and he behaved a little like him too. He followed me everywhere I went in the house, including the bathroom where I found the window. He was keeping a super close eye on me, even though he wasn't abusive yet, but the feeling I got from him let me know that if I'm not careful, he's going to hurt me. I also got the feeling I wasn't going to be allowed to leave. I told him I was hungry and kept him preoccupied by singing songs together, but I pretended to fall asleep while he was cooking. He kept cooking for a minute and then realized I had crawled away and only caught me when I was just barely getting my hips through a super tiny bathroom window. He was too late though. He tried to grab me, but just then my hips got through and the rest of me fell out of the window. And that's when I woke up in a panic attack.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, jeez.
That is super creepy dream, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. Like, I hate the fact that it sounds like the dreamer was being nice to this person, but then they turn out to be a total creeper.
It's like some serial murder vibes,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, like I hate dreams like that where you feel like entrapped. But you know, that's like I'm pretty sure that's like one of the most common dreams is that people have sent us, as well as that just people in general have, is, you know, just getting away from someone.
Yeah, but you know, this one is just like you can tell the person was they were being nice, and then they were like trying to keep calm, not to like light any suspicions in the creepy dude. And then all of a sudden, at the first moment, they took it, and like, I'm sure all their nerves came rushing at them at once, you know? And they felt it waking up too.
For sure. For sure. You know, that reminds me of, so I don't know if that's ever happened to you in real life, but have you ever had a moment or a situation in life where you were doing something, but then something, like if you were with friends or just like with just one other person or something happened, and then like you just had to like hightail it out of there? You're like, okay, now's the time. I'm not GTFO. Can't be here.
Yeah.
It just kind of reminded me of, I don't know what happened, but I was a teenager and I was like, young and stupid, and we were out with friends. It was just like two other guys. You know, we were young teenagers and we were just kind of like hanging out, and it was like in a park, and this homeless guy came up to us and like he started joking with us. We were like, I don't know, 13 or 14. And we were joking. I mean, we didn't feel threatened or anything. All of a sudden, we got this like really, really creepy vibe off of this guy. Like he seemed normal, but then he didn't, you know? Like literally like this guy may have been like a murderer. And then like we were all just joking and like everything was fine. And I remember it so clearly because we were all good. And then all of a sudden we all just like hightailed it out there, like full sprint, like just out of the blue. Like it was so funny and weird and scary at the same time because like we were all laughing and like joking, like talking normal, and then bam, just like ran out of there. And then like we just like ran for like 10 blocks straight to my friend's house. We get there and then we're all like, what just happened? Why did we all just sprint like in a full sprint, like in the middle of like a normal sentence? And one of my friends goes like, I don't know, man, I got a creepy vibe off of that dude. So we just like, he just like went for it, and we all like immediately just followed without thinking.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so really, you know, really trust your intuitions, right?
Yeah, trust your instincts. Sometimes you gotta. Like, I am not at all regretful that we did that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling better from the dream, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's
all right. So the next one is from Anonymous, of course. It goes, I was walking up to a house that felt like my home in the dream. I don't think I actually knew the house, unless it could have been Abuela's house. My boyfriend left his notebook in the car. He didn't ask me not to read it, but I told him I wouldn't, and I did it anyway. One page was a letter to my little brother. It seemed like words of encouragement, but he was basically instructing my little brother not to give away details of his personal life or ask for help until absolutely necessary. Then I go into the house. I had to unlock 2 sets of gates to get into the yard, and a coworker was there. She was telling me that the locks were there because of me. My other little brother was depressed and really suicidal, and it was my fault. When I get into the house, Dad's there in the kitchen. As usual, he doesn't know how to talk to me. He's accusatory, rude, in my face, and I'm responding with hostility. I tell him he needs to lower his voice. He needs to not step towards me, but he isn't listening. I hit him first. I don't think he hits me at all. I start smashing his face in with objects on the counter. Then I run out of objects and smash his face on the edge of the kitchen counter. I start twisting his arm like I'm trying to wring it out, and all the bones break. Both of his arms are broken and floppy like noodles. But I'm enjoying the aggression, and I'm somewhat afraid he might have some kind of strength left to kill me. Even without bones in his arms, I take one of his arms and force it down his throat until he's suffocated. The end. Wow, that was a very dreary, bleak dream. That's intense.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
You know what this dream made me think of for some reason? So, would you say that this dream's a nightmare?
Not exactly. You know, the dreamer wasn't terrified. More of like they'd be the nightmare, if anything.
Yeah. And so the person, after they shared this dream, I reached out to them and I was like, you know, because it's like a very violent dream. And I was just like kind of interested, you know, like why do they think they had that? And they said that they're not actually a very violent person in real life, but obviously they had like some negative feelings towards their father that just manifested in the dream. But it made me think of like, you know, so a regular dream can be anything, right? But when you say nightmare, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
I guess.
So like what would be the opposite of a nightmare? Because like if a regular dream is just a dream and then a nightmare is a bad dream, like what's the word for like a really pleasant dream, you know? Is there a word for that?
A wet dream?
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice. Okay. I'll take it. That's sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so the last dream on here is actually a dream that I had. This is one of my dreams, and this was like 3 days ago, and I thought it was really bizarre, so I just really wanted to share it with the listeners because I thought they'd appreciate it. But okay, so basically, it was like about 2 or 3 days ago. I had this really strange dream, and I was watching a YouTube video of a friend of mine, and this friend, I call him Mr. Anderson, kind of like from The Matrix. But so anyway, in the dream, in the video that I was watching, my friend was trying to explain how to 10x your income. And it felt a little like one of those scammy videos where they're like, just do this and make money. Anyway, he was standing in front of this table that came up to a little bit above his waist, and he was saying something like, are you tired of not having 10 times the amount of money that you have right now? Then all you have to do is this. And then he pulled out in front of him this little white Pomeranian-looking dog, but it was about the size of a cell phone. He said, all you have to do is, and then he proceeded to take the Pomeranian's face off like it was a mask, and underneath it was Nicolas Cage's face, and he was like whispering the words, don't do this, man. It doesn't have to be like this. Don't do this. And then Anderson says, and then you just, and he bites off Nicolas Cage's head off of the Pomeranian's body and spits it out, and like a bunch of blood starts like pouring all over the place. And I mean like a lot of blood, probably about a gallon of blood. And after it finishes like spurting out all the blood, it starts spitting out nickels and dimes and then quarters, and then like a bunch of cash starts just like coming out of this miniature Pomeranian's body. And then after the Pomeranian's body stopped spitting out cash, there was a pile that was about as large as the table that was in front of Anderson. And then he turns to the camera and says, and that's how you 10x your money. If you act now, you can order your very own Pomeranian for just $99. And then he presents a box of like little white Pomeranians, and then the dream ends. And that's that.
Wow, I see a lot of fortune in your future, Casey.
A lot of blood and fortune.
Blood and fortune, huh?
Yeah, I haven't told him about that I had that dream yet, so I'm going to call him probably tomorrow or something and let him know. But yeah, that's a... Anytime I have a dream with him, it's just like a really weird dream for some reason.
This particular friend, you mean?
Yeah, this particular friend, yeah. No idea what the meaning behind the dream is, but... well, it may be because like he's kind of like Anderson is like he's an entrepreneur, but not like a scammy one, but like, you know, I just thought I'd share it with the listeners. His ridiculous dream.
That's yeah. No one could have foreseen what was going to happen.
Yeah. My dreams often take like a hard left turn, like completely freaking random. But anyway, that's pretty much it.
And that's all we have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed the dream story. Let us know if you had a favorite one out of this episode. We'd love to hear. Check out the description for links to the Discord, for the YouTube channel. We have some more videos coming up on there for more visuals. And, leave a like, comment, whatever you like, and we'll see you in the next one.